them, mashallah. And all the time he's in steady communication with all these scholars, and I see his researches all the time. He comes and shares with me the researches that he's doing. It's above my limit, to be honest to you. MashaAllah, he's going to be, inshallah, a scholar above my head, inshallah. Allahumma ameen. May Allah increase him in knowledge.
Jazakallah
ولا يزكى الله أحدا.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I talk with Alhamdulillah الذي أحسن تدبير الكائنات فخلق الأرض والسماوات وأنزل الماء الفرات من المعصرات فأخرج به الحب والنبات وقدر الأرزاق وأقويات وحفظ بمأكول قوي الحيوانات وعان على طاعة وأعمال الصالحات بأكل الطيبات والصلاة على محمد المعجزات الباهرات. All praise and thanks belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has provided for us food and drink. And may peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Our topic today is concerning the etiquettes in eating. And we make us say the etiquettes of eating during this holiday season per se, because people tend to eat more during this time of the year. Before we get in our topic, I'll just say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that I have not created mankind and jinn for no other purpose except to worship me. I do not ask for them to provide for me, neither to give me food. So we see from this verse that our purpose of creation is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's very difficult and highly unlikely for a person or a servant to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as he should be worshipped without two major things. These two things are at-ta'amu wa-sharab, food and drink. And for that reason, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah said that بِنَّ مَقْصُودُ ذُو الْأَلْبَابِ لِقَاءِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي دَارِ الثَّوَابِ, that indeed the overall purpose for a servant is to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in hereafter, the home of rewards. And it's not possible for one to reach this goal except having knowledge and applying it. They cannot do these two things except with a healthy and sound body. And you cannot obtain a healthy and sound body except by food and nutrition. And also we have to be careful to have this intake that is not too much. And then he says, for that reason Allah said, Kulu washrabu wa'amalu salihat, eat and drink and then do good deeds. So he said here from this verse, Allah saying Kulu min at-tayyibat, Allah preceded eating first before doing good deeds. So we see from this ayat that it's very important for us to eat and drink, so that way we can fulfill and carry out the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ibn Kathir rahimahullah also said that eating and drinking is one of the main things that help us to worship Allah as He should be worshipped. So at the same time, this food and drink is a ni'mah and blessing from Allah, and we should appreciate this blessing. And it's also said by Muhammad Salih al-Thameen rahimahullah concerning this blessing, that no one really knows the blessing of food and drink except the one that's deprived from it. And they undergo thirst and hunger. By doing this, then they really truly understand what it's like to be hungry and without food and drink. And this is one of the purpose and wisdom of fasting, because a person through fasting realizes the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for providing us food and drink. And Allah also said that we have karamna ala bani Adam, we have given the children of Adam lots of provision, all types and varieties of food and drink, unlike most of creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كلكم جائعون, that all you are hungry except for the one I have given food for. So now, after understanding this blessing and this ni'mah, we have to be aware and not to abuse this ni'mah, this blessing, by going overboard, having al-israf. As Allah said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu innahu la yuhibbu musrifin, that eat and drink and do not go overboard, because indeed Allah does not like those who go beyond the limits and overeat. Also the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Kulu washrabu min ghayri israf, eat and drink without going overboard. One form of going overboard is al-ikhlal, to not eat at all. And we all know the famous story of the three men who came to the house of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they asked concerning his worship. And it was told that he prays part of the night, sleep part of the night. He fasts some days he breaks his fast, and also he get married. One said, فَأَمَّا أَنَا, as for myself, I'm not going to eat no more, that's it. And when the Prophet ﷺ heard this, he said, Wallahi, indeed, I am the most knowledgeable of Allah, and also the most fearful of Allah. I eat, and I break my fast. I fast, and also I eat. Also, he forbade us to not eat and drink while fasting. We have to have suhoor, and we have to have iftar. And one of the most strongest proof that we have to eat, that Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge in Allah by saying, Allahumma, O Allah, I seek refuge in thee from al-jur' بِأَنَّهُ بِئْسَ الدَّجِيعِ, that, O Allah, seek refuge in you from hunger. This hunger, it means having an empty stomach, the pain of having an empty stomach and no food in one's belly, to such a degree that a person cannot even pray, make sujood or ruku' because of the pain of hunger. And also, they cannot even think straight. This is one of the ill effects of one not eating. And it just shows us that there's no virtue in being hungry or starving oneself to death. And likewise, dehydration. People can get dehydrated. Also, can get dehydrated in winter time. Just the other day, subhanAllah, I was working all day long and didn't eat and drink, and I was actually very sick and got dehydrated. So this is one form of israf. The other is to overeat. This is very serious as well, and it was actually called one of the most things that destroy the son of Adam. As it was said, that is one of the things, ba'dhum muhlikat. This is one of the things that caused Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa to be expelled from paradise because of the desire of eating. Likewise, it was mentioned that the main test of the son of Adam is eating, similarly how it was the main test for our father Adam alayhi salam. In the stomach, in actuality, is one of the things that hold and foster diseases. And after this, it brings about desires. And after this, people wants to increase in their wealth. And also, this begins, it starts showing off, have a riyat. And also, arrogance. And then, after this, after them filling their belly, they have animosity and hatred towards one another. And this is how come it builds up and builds up. As Allah said, Kulu washrabu, eat and drink from the vision of Allah, وَلَا تَتَّبُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ, and don't follow the steps of the shaitan. Because after you eat and get full, and now a person may indulge more things, after this more things, and builds and builds and builds. And for the reason also, Umar ibn Khattab radhiyallahu anhu also said in his khutbah one day, be aware of filling your bellies, because indeed it makes you lazy, it makes you may delay your prayer, and also it's harmful for the body. You should be moderate in your eating, because this is more better for your worship. And indeed a person will not go astray except by following the desires of his belly. And also mention that by doing this, it's harmful in a person's deen and their daily life. So we see that eating a lot can indeed cause a person to get sick and afflict them with a lot of diseases. It also causes them to be sluggish and lazy and make it difficult for them to pray. And also it causes the heart to become darkened. As it was said, that two things can cause the heart to become blackened or darkened, is talking a lot and eating a lot. And Ibn Ahmed rahimahullah was asked, do you see a person while overeating having a soft heart? He says, no, I don't. So we see that it's very important how severe it is to overeat. Because by overeating, a person is close to the non-Muslims. As Allah said, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا يَتَمَتَّعُونَ وَيَأْكُلُونَ كَمَا تَأْكُلُونَ الْأَنْعَامُ. That those who disbelieve, they enjoy things and they eat similar to how the cattle eat. It was said that because they eat and drink and not thinking about the hereafter. So, as we said, this is very serious to such a degree that Umar ibn Khattab also did not want a person who overate to sit in his home. As it came in the story, one person, he ate with him one day and he overate, so he said, I do not want this person to eat in my house again. It was said that it's because he had resembled the non-Muslims and he did not like to mix and mingle with those who had those characteristics. And he understood this from the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that said, a man before Islam used to eat a lot, and once he took a shahada and became Muslim, he ate less. And this came back to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He said, in a mu'min ya'kulu fi mayin wahid, that indeed the believer eats in one intestine, and the non-Muslim, he eats in 7. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah said, al-mukhtar, the best overall opinion for this is that some believers, not all, but some, eat in one intestine, and the majority, not all, but the majority, all the non-Muslims may eat more. And the other overall meaning of this hadith is that it means that they take less, the believer takes less from this dunya and does not try to gain a lot, unlike the non-Muslims who try to gain a lot. Wallahu a'lam, all the best. Another way of going overboard is when a Muslim invites someone to their house and it's just 2, they prepare enough for 4. And this we should be aware of, because the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam that 1 plate of food is enough for 2, and 2 plates of food is enough for 4, and 4 plates of food is enough for 8. Uthman rahimahullah said that it is today is very common and it's kind of sad that when people invite someone over for their house, when they invite 5 people over, they make enough for 10 instead of making enough for 2.5. Likewise, when they invite 10 people over to the house, they make enough food for 20 people instead of making enough for 5.5. So we have to be aware and cautious of this, because this in fact hurts our body and hurts us in our deen. As the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the worst vessel one can fill is their belly. If you must fill yourself, then have 1/3 for food, and 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 to breathe. Ibn Rajab rahimahullah said that this hadith is the founding principle for all medical fields. And once one doctor had read this hadith, he said that if people apply this hadith, they will be free from a lot of diseases and illness and sicknesses. And also, the Arab used to say that indeed the stomach is the head of all diseases. So, there is no treatment or remedy like the treatment of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if we apply this principle and these teachings, we will find ourselves less visiting the doctor's office and less in the ER. So what's the ilaj and treatment? The ilaj and treatment for this Before we mention it, there's one hadith where the companions came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, Ya Rasulullah, indeed we eat, but we don't get full. He said, perchance you are dividing yourselves. Once you eat, gather all together and mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you be blessed in your food. So some reasons for a person not getting the full blessings of their food, one again is not saying Bismillah. Because once we do not say Bismillah, then shaitan eats with that Muslim, and then the barakah is removed from their food. Another is not eating from what's close to them. By doing so, this can also remove the barakah and the blessings from one's food. Also, from the remedies of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he ate, he sat on his knees, and he sat in such a way where the food went down evenly. He did not lean to the left or to the right. Rather, he ate straight so that way the food can go down perfectly, and this also helps in obtaining the full blessings and rewards, because by doing so, it can hurt one's digestive system, and also it's a sign of showing off kibr by leaning in such a way and relaxing while eating. Another way he used to eat was by having his feet crossed in the back, so that we did not get too comfortable and to not eat a lot. Also his fingers, sallallahu, he used to eat with 3 fingers. That food that can't be eaten with 3 fingers, he would eat those with 3 fingers, so that way to not obtain a lot of food. Also, once he got done with his food, he would lick his fingers, sallallahu, before he wiped them with a napkin or anything, so that way to maximize the full reward and blessings of the food. So this is something that we should do and practice, and if we can't do it, then at least let someone else do it for us. And it also brings about love between a husband and wife, to lick your spouse's fingers or your children's fingers. Also, doctors say that by doing this, this helps eating with 1 fingers, helps them digest their food. So we do this as a sunnah because the Prophet did this, and if we get the rewards of what the doctors say, then this is good as well. Also, he used to sallallahu lick his plate when he got done, because he said, because indeed we do not know where the blessing may be. Concerning food that falls, it was said that if while we're eating food fall, we should as well pick it up and eat it as well, because the Prophet said, do not leave any bit for shaitan. So if we begin our food by saying Bismillah, shaitan watches us. Wait and see if any food drops. If any food drops, then if he gets it, it's for him, and if we pick it up, it's for ourselves, and we get the full blessings. Nawawi rahimahullah said that this should be done, and if something dirty, we should wash it. And Al-Taybi rahimahullah said, because by leaving this food on the floor is wasting the blessings of Allah, and also it is belittling it, and it's not from the manners of the believers. Rather, to leave this food on the floor is from the manners of those who are arrogant, because they feel that this piece of food on the floor is leave it. We should pick it up and eat it, or as Nawawi said, if not, then at least give it to a cat or dog, someone that can benefit from it. Because as again he said, وَلَا تَدْرُونَ مِنْ أَيْنَ بَرَكَةٌ, because you do not know where the barakah may be. It could be in your fingertips, it could be in the plate, it could be the piece that fell. So likewise with drinking, when you drunk, sallallahu, he would be cautious and not breathe into his drink that he's drinking, so that way to not have anything fall in his drink from his nose, sallallahu, or from the mouth, to again maximize the full reward of his food and get the full blessings. Likewise with hot food, he would try not to blow it as well. So that's some of the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, to teach us how to have and deal with food, to get the full rewards of our food. And by doing so, there's a lot of rewards, some of which is when a person is done eating and drinking, they say Alhamdulillah, they obtain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, when one after he eats, say Alhamdulillah to the one who fed me, then the Prophet said sallallahu that they will be forgiven. They will get the rewards and forgiveness. Likewise, it's a light for the heart as well. So we should try to obtain these rewards. As for the one who does not try to obtain these rewards, rather they make it a habit to overeat, because it's okay to sometimes overeat, but to make it a habit is not. For those who do this, it will come back and bite them on their judgment. As Prophet said sallallahu in a hadith, in akthar an-nas shib'an fi dunya atwalahum ju'an yawm al-qiyamah, that indeed the person who eats a lot continuously, habitually in his dunya, they'll be the most hungriest in his dunya, the most hungriest in hereafter. And something amazing that we have to be aware of as well, that Ashabul Jannah, the companions of paradise, are on three categories. Those who mix their good deeds with bad deeds, and those are the one who wrong themselves. However, their found place will be the paradise, if perchance they even punished with the hellfire. Those Allah, they mention their punishment or the reward. As for their drinks, is not explained. What has been explained is the sharab al-muqarrabin, the drinks of those who are close to Allah, wa sharab al-abrar, wa hum ashabul yameen, and the drinks of those who are close to Allah, and the drinks of those who are on the right side. As for the ashabul yameen, those are the ones who are very close to Allah. Those are the ones who did all obligatory actions. They left all things that are haram, and they had also, although they might did something that was disliked, for them, they will have a mixture of drink, because they had some mixture in actions. So in hereafter, they will have a drink partially of the kafur and some of zanjabil. But for those who are the closest to Allah, they will have a pure drink that's all kafur. And again, as for the ones who are on the companion on the right side, they have the pure drink because they're close to Allah, and they made their actions to Allah pure in this dunya. So for them, they will have a pure drinking hereafter. And because they did all that was obligatory and those things that are liked, and they left all things that are disliked and haram, so for them they will obtain the pure drink. And we love today when we go to the store to get 100% cranberry juice, or 100% this. So for those who carry out these good deeds, they will drink from the spring, and the spring comes from El Podos. It'd be a pure drink. But for those who may have mixed their good deeds with bad deeds, then they will not be able to have the full pure drink of certain things in paradise. So this is one reason why we should try to implement and practice all these things. And as was said, whosoever controls their belly, then they have controlled their actions. And I'll close with this, that again, okay. So I'll close by saying that, as was said, that whoever focus on their food intake, then they have made the religion good. And whosoever does not, then this may affect the religion and the deen. And what's to think and contemplate on those who may not go directly to paradise, that they may spend a certain time in Jahannam and seek refuge from Allah from that. What will be their food? They will not get a plate from paradise, as Allah said in Surah Al-Ghashiyah, that تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يغني من جوع. That those who, and may Allah protect us all from having to spend a certain time in hellfire, but they will be given food that's hot and boiling, and that will tear up their throats and they'll cut their bellies and intestines. So we seek refuge from Allah from that, and we use this to get us closer to Allah, to be mindful and aware of how much we eat, and to eat moderately, and also our children to be aware how much they eat, and make sure if they're not eating, that they eat enough so they can fulfill their obligations first to Allah, and then in this daily life. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه غفور.
جزاك الله خير. جزاك الله خير. جزاك الله خير. Wonderful.